Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you are thinking. And now more than ever, with people being canceled and forced to atone for their past support of Trump, I feel like voices who can speak out are needed more than ever. And thank God I don't work as a teacher anymore, because now I can speak freely. And I feel so bad for my teacher friends who still can't say what they believe for fear of being fired. So it's really great, isn't it? Isn't tolerance wonderful? Isn't progressivism great? Anyway, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and do check out my original content on my website, angelasoapbox.com. Now, I mentioned last week that I was probably going to upload this video to BitChute, but I realized something about myself. I like to do about 5 things, and learning a new platform is not one of them. So I'm going to stay here on YouTube until the woke overlords sniff me out and snuff me out once and for all. But every week on my channel, I like to dedicate a sea turtle killing plastic straw to a filthy leftist. And this week, with his flurry of unconstitutional executive orders, the straw goes to Hurricane Biden, our dear dictator. So this is for you, old creepy Joe. Gosh, I don't even know where to begin. President Trump, Obama, and Bush, in the first months of their administrations, did not do as many executive orders as Biden combined as Biden did in 1 week. And it's really quite astonishing. And I feel like what we're witnessing is a great awakening of sorts, because for those of us who've always been paying attention, we knew that President Trump's full agenda was to make America great again. Everything he did was for the American people, whether it was to lower the cost of insulin or EpiPens, to build a wall along our southern border, to stop taxpayer funding of abortions, to protect girls and women's sports. Just, you know, the list goes on and on. Getting us out of the Paris Climate Accord, which all it is a slush fund for the elitists to continue getting rich. It does nothing for the environment, because man can't change the environment. It's called weather. But there are a lot of dumb people among us who believe that they can. The Iran nuclear deal, the endless wars that we, you know, in the great 1984 quote of how East Asia has always been at war with Oceania, or Oceania has always been at war with East Asia. And that's just how it goes, isn't it? Because for 4 years, we had a pause of that. We had a man who truly put the American people first, didn't take a salary. Everything he was doing was for us. And what Biden and his ilk have decided to do is to reverse everything. And during the campaign, he was lamenting all these executive orders that Trump was signing and saying that made him a dictator. Well, what does that make you, Joe? Because the reason Trump did executive orders was because he had a filthy, disgusting leftist Democrat Congress that would not work with him on anything for the American people. And so he did constitutionally what he thought he could to help the American people. Well, everything Joe Biden has done is to reverse that progress, to reverse any good things that were for America, killing hundreds of thousands of jobs in his first week alone. And just the XL pipeline is 70,000 jobs. That doesn't include all the trickle-down jobs that come from the XL pipeline. Waitresses, retail shops, I mean, you name it. If you've never watched or read the essay, Pencil, it was American Enterprise Institute, I believe, did a video to it, but it was written in the 30s. And it talks about the interconnected beauty of the free market, the voluntary transactions that take place every day between individuals that are too numerous to even count. And it talks about how a pencil is made. And you think, oh, it's a pencil. No, it's intricate. It's elaborate. And it's really a fascinating thing if you think about it. So what Joe Biden did with killing the XL Keystone Pipeline is not only killed those jobs and made us energy independent, he killed every other job that was connected to it. And speaking of energy independence, the moronic left, who are now going back to their it's like a tick. It's like solar panels, windmills. They're obsessed with these things that aren't financially feasible right now and don't work in the long run. You can't run a plane on solar panels, dummies. But instead of doing an all of the above approach, which is what President Trump did, which is what conservatives believe in, they want to kill the one thing that gives us reliable, clean, inexpensive energy, and that is fossil fuels. They are insane. They are insane, and they hate us. And I think if this week has shown us anything, is that the Democrat Party, the Never Trumpers, the media, the establishment, whatever you want to call them, literally hate our guts. They want to destroy us. And, you know, there's a term for this, and psychologists call this term psychopathy. So when you talk about, when I like to say that these people are psychopaths, and it doesn't mean they're out murdering people, but I decided to look up what the definition of psychopathy is, or the traits that one might find in a psychopath. And I just want you to tell me if you think that any of these sound familiar to you. Let's see. Psychopaths, socially irresponsible behavior. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, every single woke pronunciation that has been foisted upon us. Disregarding or violating the rights of others. Canceling people. No free speech. No peaceful assembly. No 2A sound familiar? Let's see. Inability to distinguish between right and wrong. Ain't that the truth? Difficulty with showing remorse or empathy. So when Jen Psaki, I can't stand that woman, gets up there and says, oh, just learn to code. I mean, what's the problem? So what if you're losing your job? Learn to code. Tendency to lie often. Oh, yeah. Manipulating and hurting others. Recurring problems with the law. Basically every single Democrat that is never held accountable for anything. And general disregard towards safety and responsibility. You tell me, who does that remind you of? Does that remind you of the entire Democrat Party, in addition to the media and our woke overlords that are making our lives a living hell? I think so. So when I call them psychopaths, that's not hyperbole. I think they're psychopaths. So, you know, this week with AOC, the reason I was starting to think about how can we really classify these people, I was going off of a tweet from AOC, and she really made me think this woman is a psychopath, literally a psychopath. She got into it with Ted Cruz because her and Ted Cruz agreed on the whole GameStop thing going on. And, you know, without getting too much into the weeds of that, because I don't really totally understand it, I just know that basically normal people stuck it to hedge fund people, and the Biden administration doesn't like that. And the wokerazzi and the elites that think they run everything and think they're better than us don't like it at all. So shockingly, AOC and Ted Cruz are on the same side of this issue. And he basically agreed with her tweet. And instead of like her saying, hey, I'm glad to see we can work together, that's great. No, she said, the way you can agree with me is to quit, to resign, and tell the people who want to murder me to back off. This woman is insane, and she's dangerous. And the thing that makes the left dangerous is not only do they believe these pie-in-the-sky things that don't work, like socialism, communism, pretending they can control the weather, all that stuff that they do. You know, the science deniers among us, saying that a piece of face diaper is going to stop a virus particle, and you can control your own sex chromosomes, and a baby's only a baby when it's convenient, and, you know, that kind of stuff that the left likes to say that they're so much superior than the rest of us about. That's why I label them psychopaths, because it's just, there's no reality to any of it. But the problem is that they control everything. They control everything. So by extension, they think they're right. It's a scary time we're living in. Also, we're definitely an upside down world, because the Nobel Peace Prize nominees were announced today, and the violent, demonic, Marxist, anarchist, pieces of crap, race hustling, Black Lives Matter was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. So after the hell that they and Antifa inflicted on our cities and our citizens and our states, and they continue to inflict on our culture by making everything racist and everybody racist, and if you don't agree with them, you're a racist. They're getting nominated for a Peace Prize. And I 100% guarantee that they will win because, the woke psychos that run the Nobel Peace Prize are like, well, we have to give it to them. I mean, they're Black Lives Matter. If we don't, then we must be racist. Now, speaking of Black Lives Matter and the psychopaths in that organization, did you know that their main fundraiser is a woman named Susan Rosenberg, big Hillary person, pardoned by Bill Clinton? She's a Weather Underground terrorist. Yeah, so the Weather Underground of the 60s is now working with Black Lives Matter of today. All comes full circle, doesn't it? They're all psychopaths. Anyway, more psychopathy. I'm looking down at my notes here. I don't want to miss anything. Some more psychopathy that's been revealed, and will anything ever be done about it? No. Just like Kevin Kleinsmith today, the only person ever charged with the Russiagate collusion BS that ruined so many people's lives, including Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. He got 12 months probation for falsifying an email saying that Carter Page was a Russian agent or wasn't a CIA asset. So basically what he did is he invented an email, took out the part that the CIA said that yes, Carter Page is one of our assets, said he is not an asset, and they used that as part of the predicate to get a FISA warrant to spy on Carter Page and the rest of the Trump campaign. And he got 12 months probation. Do you see what we're up against here? I mean, literally psychopathy on every level wherever we turn. And they run the whole thing. Okay, I want to talk about the Rona before this goes too much longer. Speaking of someone who's never going to be held accountable for anything and who is a true psychopath is Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, as we know, shoved COVID patients into nursing homes to jack up the death rate, to hurt Donald Trump, to ruin the economy, etc., etc. All of the blue state governors and mayors, that's what they were focused on for the last year. Well, shockingly, the Attorney General of New York came out and, very calmly, but it was like, oh, you underreported the deaths by 50%. Which to me is like, that's weird. You would think you would have raised the deaths by 50%. But keep in mind, Andrew Cuomo literally killed your grandma. He put people in nursing homes that had COVID-19 with the population that was most susceptible to get it. If that isn't manslaughter or homicide, I don't know what to call it. He did not use the hospital ships that Trump had set up. He did not use Central Park, that hospital that was set up. He used none of it. He shoved all the patients into nursing homes. This man is a demon, like all leftists, and nothing will ever happen to him. I'm just giving you information because the Justice Department is the injustice department. We do not have an equal set of laws for all Americans. Justice is not blind. There is one set of rules for Democrats and media establishment and the establishment and elites in general, and one for the rest of us schlubs. And that's how they like it, and that's how they want to keep it. The Rona, as we know, was a scam. The propaganda about it was an absolute scam. And now we see all these blue states all of a sudden wanting to reopen. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, after the inauguration, everything is great now. We could totally reopen. We can totally go back to school. And, we'll just wear like 17 masks on our face because who wants to breathe? That's overrated. But what's hilarious is that the teachers' unions who have been sitting on their asses for a year, literally sitting on their asses, not going into work, just doing everything online and not testing and not really, it's been a total sham and a scam, and it's disgusting. Well, they're suing to not go back to work because they're pretending that they believed the BS that's been fed to them for the past year. Oh, it's so dangerous. How can you tell us to go back now? Don't worry, guys. All the PCR tests are going to be running at a lower frequency or however they call it. And so magically, all the cases are going to drop and all the deaths are going to drop right on time. And so for those dummies among us who called us conspiracy theorists for an entire year, when we said this entire charade is to get rid of one man, the worldwide charade of Rona and the the response to it, the propaganda behind it was to get rid of one man. And this last thing will make you go, of course it was. Remember how hydroxychloroquine was banned and silenced and canceled and said it was going to kill you if you took it for COVID-19, even though it's been on the market for 65 years and approved by the FDA for as long as that, and clearly has had peer-reviewed studies that says, yeah, hydroxychloroquine does work when you give it to COVID-19 patients. Remember how everyone was canceled and deplatformed because of they said those things? Well, now, I know you're shocked, but the AMA has now come out and said, whoopsie, oh, guess what? It does work. Nothing to see here, right? For the past year, for the past year especially, but the past 4 years, they've tried to get rid of one man who stood in the way of we the people and their psychotic overlord, the woke overlord, New World Order, Great Reset, nightmare, dystopian nightmare. And now he's gone, and now we're living it. And it's going to get worse, people. So I just want to give a big slow clap to all the dumb Biden voters out there to say thanks so much, even though we know he didn't win legitimately, and you're not going to get me to say otherwise. We all know that he cheated. There's many various ways he did it. You're not going to get me to shut up about that. But he's now president, and you see what he's done. He hates us. He hates us. He wants the elites, the illegals, and the welfare queens. Democrats think, they can build a winning coalition on that until the end of time. And who knows, they may be right, because they fixed it last time, and they're going to fix it again. So on that depressing note, if you've made it through this long video, thank you. Again, share my content while it's still available, and keep fighting while we can, guys, because there's nowhere else to go. It's America or bust, and we need to save her. Bye.